Hello and welcome. It is the end of December and I wanted to include the Christmas tree before it wilts, but I'm going to try not to knock into it. I bumped off an ornament earlier. But yeah, today I've got this book stack for you. These are the books that I'm reading right now. So let's get into them. Okay, so this first one is Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton. I actually started reading this like maybe 8 or 10 years ago, something like that, and got just a little bit into it and put it down. And then this year I decided to pick it up again. So I'm listening to an audiobook and reading it at the same time, so I can kind of hear the audiobook has got a British person reading it. So it's nice to hear the British sounding speech as I listen to it. But yeah, I'm getting a lot out of that. So that's cool. Here's one that I'm reading. A friend of mine and I are supposed to be reading it together. We haven't gotten together to talk about it yet, but yeah, I read this for the first time when I was 18. So now it's been many years and I think I'm getting a lot more out of it this time. I listened to the podcast, the Literary Life podcast, and they have some episodes where they go through it. So I'll like read a few chapters and then listen to them and their take on it. And that's really informative and helpful and helps me kind of get deeper with it. And so, yeah, I enjoy that. I love C.S. Lewis. This is, yeah, very interesting, kind of different than some of his other works that I've enjoyed. So I like that. This time I found out that, so it says a myth retold, and I found out that you are supposed to read Cupid and Psyche, the ancient Greek myth, before you read this because it's going to be based on that. So that was very helpful the second time through reading Cupid and Psyche before I began, so I can kind of see where the story is going and how he's going to change it. But yeah, that's really neat. I've been enjoying that so far. It's really fascinating. Some of the biggest takeaways I've gotten so far, because I'm not quite halfway yet, are the idea of when our loves are disordered, they can destroy us. So we can love someone and we can love them to the detriment of them and us if we don't have things in order as they're supposed to be under the way that God has love set up. So anyways, I'll be interested to see where this goes. I remember some of it, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've read that one. Okay, and then here's the next one that I've been reading. This is 10 Ways to Destroy the Imagination of Your Child by Anthony Esolen. I've been going through this one slowly all year long, I think. I think I started this way at the beginning of 2021, and every bit of it I love. He has lots of quotes in it that weave into his kind of sarcastic or tongue-in-cheek style of writing, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, he definitely makes me want to read Sir Walter Scott, which I have not read any Sir Walter Scott before, but yeah, I really want to read Waverley and Ivanhoe, Rob Roy, and yeah, this is just very neat. He's got different ways he talks about things that we maybe as a culture tend to fall into that are, you know, he's recommending it to destroy your child's imagination, but things that we fall into that yeah, can cripple or hurt a child's imagination. And so good for brainstorming on how to get out of those ruts or falls that we fall into. All right. Oh yeah, I wanted to say too, every bit of this, it's like I want to, I can't even read a whole chapter at a time. I read like a certain portion of it and I'm like, oh, that's so good. And then I end up reading, whenever I read a bit of it, then I just want to read the whole thing again to my husband. It's like one long entire quote. So I'm making it through very slowly, but I'm enjoying it. I doubt I'll finish it by the end of the year, but yeah, I'm loving it. All right, here's this book, Mere Motherhood by Cindy Rollins. This is one of the podcast hosts of the Literary Life podcast, which I've been listening to in the last year or so. My cousin recommended it to me and I've been greatly enjoying it. Anyways, yeah, so she's one of the 2 main hosts, or 2 at the beginning, now there's 3 hosts, but she's great. And so I actually my cousin lent me this book yesterday, and so I just started it. I'm a few chapters in, so I'm enjoying it so far. It's kind of the story of her life so far. So I think she's leading up to homeschool, but just the different, you know, when she met the man she wanted to marry, and then her kids, having kids slowly, and the different houses she's lived in, because especially at the beginning of their marriage, they used to live in a place for just a short while for her husband's work, and they would move to a new place. So anyways, it's very interesting, and I like it so far. Yeah, she's very candid, and she's talking about some of the, looking back, some of the ideals she had and the ways that she thought that I don't know, yeah, kind of dreams, and some of it I see, because she wanted to be like a farm, I don't know, have some kind of idyllic farm life, and I have had some of that and had some failures. But so it's interesting to read and hear her, yeah, humility coming through, like her high hopes, and then her things that have defeated her, and realizing the struggles and pride that she had that she didn't realize she had, and that God made clear to her. So, yep. Anyways, that was good. All right, and here's one. This is The Treasure of the Secret Cove. This is by Amy Lefevre. Not sure exactly how you pronounce her name. I have read a couple of her books. This is one of the Lamplighter books, these beautiful printed books. This is like a textured cover. It's so neat. Anyways, I just started this a few days ago. I gave for a Christmas present, I gave my in-laws like an audio dramatization they do of this one. And then I was like, you know, I gave that to them and I heard it's good, but maybe I should read the book, because I already had the book to see what it's like. So I'm a few chapters into that. I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah, it's very interesting. It starts with a girl who, I guess she's a ward of this man and woman who are like brother and sister, and she's grown up in their house under the rules, and the man is kind of it seems pretty eccentric. He's kind of wanted her to grow up without much rules so that she can develop her own opinions and kind of let her personality be unchallenged, whatever interests she has. But he's kind of doing it like a psychology experiment almost. So it's strange in a way, but yeah, I'm interested to see where it's going and what it's like. She certainly is an interesting character. So yeah, I'm enjoying that so far. Okay, here's one that I have been super duper enjoying over the last maybe month to month and a half. I forget, maybe it's just been a few weeks. This is The White Company by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and it's the edition that's illustrated by N.C. Wyeth, which I have been I love the N.C. Wyeth illustrated editions whenever I can get them. I kind of went on a kick this year of finding as many of those as I could through thrift books, and I think I had to find this on Biblio or something, but I love his illustrations. They are gorgeous. There's not very many in them. There's like maybe 8 to 10, something like that, but they're worth it. So yeah, this is this is the one main book that I know of that by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle that is not the Sherlock Holmes adventures. So it's just a totally different kind. It's set in like 1366 England, I think, where they're at war with, they're going to war with either France or Spain, but they haven't even gotten to that part yet. They're just journeying along, and it starts with 2 men who leave this monastery the same day. And the first one is like, he gets into he's been at the monastery for 2 months and he's gotten into all this trouble. And I mean, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is really funny. So like the charges against him are pretty hilarious. Like one of them was he helped a woman and they weren't supposed to like look at women or talk to them or anything. So I think 2 of the witnesses got in trouble too because they saw him help her, and so they were in trouble for that. So anyways, I think they were going to punish him, but he just like ran away. And then the second man was, his father died when he was a baby, and his father like wanted the monastery to take care of him. He gave them left them the monastery a bunch in his will, and then wanted them to raise him until he was 20. So this guy loves the monastery and would probably just go into it, but his father wanted him to have 1 year break where he could go out in the world after being in the monastery for 20 years and decide, like, see what the world was like, decide where he wanted to be with a full decision, not just the monastery's outlook on the world. So that's him adventuring out into the world, and he's never even been around women, so he's always at the first he's very like blushing and like doesn't know how to be around women or girls. So that's really cute. But yeah, it's got some great conundrums or just things to ponder about that, like pure religious life, or, you know, certainly the opposite would be a pure like criminal or debased life, but what kind of life can you live in the world and be in the world but not of the world? So that seems like we're exploring some of those questions, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, let's see if I can show a picture, one of the pictures in it. Let's see, where was I? Because there was a beautiful picture. Oh yes, okay, here we go. There's one of the pictures in there. I just love it. Okay, all right. Okay, this is the first of the home education series by Charlotte Mason. So yeah, I've been reading this one. I probably started this one 2 or 3 years ago, and I've actually made a lot of progress in it this year because I kind of got discouraged from it, and then, or I don't know, I got busy, and then we decided to start homeschool this year, and so I read a lot of it in anticipation of that, and now I'm, it looks like 3/4 the way through. So I'm not in a rush to finish it, but I'm just, yeah, I'm inspired, and I do want to read this entire series. This is book 1, and I have grown to love more and more Charlotte Mason's writings, and I've heard other people quote her, and I want to get to all of those quotes. You know, lots of this just seems very quotable and beautiful. It's a little bit harder because it is older English, but it's just wonderful. I love her outlook on education. I think, you know, I consider her to be one of my, you know, mentors through time, really. I think that that God gave her such a beautiful vision for education, and so that's what we're trying to implement in our home, is the Charlotte Mason education. So I'm really excited about these. So I'm enjoying that, but slowly. Pardon me damaging my Christmas tree. All right, this one has no cover. This is Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. And so I started this a few months ago, and at first it was a book, and then it's actually started doing the art practice things. So I kind of got delayed for a few months before I was ready to do the art stuff. But I did actually do some of the first exercises over the last couple days during this like Christmas break. So I'm hoping to continue on. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So it's kind of a book and kind of yeah. So she wanted you to do 3 challenges at this stage in the book, and it was like draw, they don't sound easy to me. One was to draw a person, either, you know, their face, their top half, or their whole body from memory. So like just draw somebody from memory. And I'm like, what in the world? And then, so that was the hardest one actually. And then draw look in a mirror that only shows your face and do a self-portrait. So that was, you know, that was okay. And then also draw your hand. So, and then, so that was like you're supposed to do that before you get into, I don't know, sort of the technique or the way of seeing that she's going to describe and have different things. So yes, now I can continue in the book since I finally did those exercises after like 3 or 4 months from starting this, but seems really cool. I'm liking it so far. And yeah, so it's kind of looking at a new way of seeing. I think I do have some natural artistic ability, but I think you don't have to start with that. I think anytime you work on things like that and try and improve yourself, it increases your artistic, I mean, yeah, it should increase anybody's ability to some degree, but it also increases your appreciation when you look at great pieces of art and be able to see more of it and appreciate it more. So that's definitely what I'm going for. I do enjoy art as well when I have time for it. I have said before that I would, when I'm retired, I would like to be a painter. So I hope to explore that more when I'm older, but hopefully little bits as we go on. So yeah, so that's one. All right, and then this is my, this is The Divine Comedy by Dante. I don't even know how to say the last part. Dante Alighieri. I started this in July, I think, and I haven't actually read any. I read about 14 cantos of Inferno in July, and I haven't read any since then, but I'm not done with it, and I do intend to be picking it up soon. Yeah, it doesn't bother me to set it down for a while. We had to I like really kicked into gear to start, once I made the decision to actually start homeschool this fall. So, but yeah, those first I was reading them in my head, but it's like got a poetic flow to it. Of course, in Italian, it would have its poetic flow. This, this translation, this is the, is it John Chiardi, I think? Yeah, this is the John Chiardi translation with engravings by Gustave Doré. And so yeah, it's got some cool, just black and white, but cool pictures in there. So I enjoyed those. But anyways, so I started reading it in my head, but then I got to a place where I just wanted to, I guess, taste the poetry more. So I was reading it out loud, just to myself mainly, but just out loud to hear it and get more of the feel to it. It's in 3 at a time. It has 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. And then at the end of every canto is 2 lines that rhyme. And I'm thinking, yeah, I think it's ABA, 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 and then the last one is like 2 that rhyme. But yeah, would be one of my most challenging books, so I don't expect to rush through it. I don't want to rush through it. I read different levels, but I would certainly consider is one of the greats. One of the greatest classics of all time, one of the greatest Christian classics. So I'm excited about reading it, and yeah, so that is my stack for today. And yeah, to me, I don't mind having a lot of different books I'm reading. I don't try and rush through them all. I try to read them and be able to have time to think about it and not just rush through to the next chapter. That's sometimes a discipline, and sometimes I realize I haven't read a book in a while, and so I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to pick that one back up again. Because sometimes I get where I read a certain one a lot, but I like having the different kind of levels and different goals. Like I'm usually always reading some kind of education book that's more for me as a homeschool mom than I don't know, other aspects, just enjoyment or grades or classics. So yeah, so anyways, that's what I'm enjoying today. Thanks so much for coming to my channel, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.